That's what you get when you try to play that report. It's age restricted, as if this is some kind of pornography or something. Tonight, as an example of the kind of censorship that we're getting, last night I had a report about the Swedish riots. And you remember the chronology that we had last Saturday? We had Donald Trump talking about the fact that the Swedish migrants were causing all kinds of terrorizing attacks, okay? Called it a terror attack, okay? Technically, what he's talking about is how the Swedish residents have been terrorized by these migrants that have come in there in a per capita rate that is far higher than any other country. They have a crime rate now in some of the cities where they have the highest concentration. It's 3 times what it is in a typical European capital. I reported on this last night. I reported on the fact that the Swedish government was covering this up, that they were censoring this, that they were threatening the officers who talked about this, the police officers who said that we are told that we can't talk about this, recrimination is made against us. Well, guess what? That report on Google was then listed as an age-restricted report. Now, there's nothing in this report that is rated R, and we're going to show you. There you see, that's what you get when you try to play that report. It's age-restricted, as if this is some kind of pornography or something. No, it's not. It's a report about the violence that happened there. And of course, this was on Monday night after the media, and especially all of the late-night comedians, were mocking Donald Trump all through the weekend, all on Monday, and then we have this massive riot. And then they take down my report about it. Censorship of a report on censorship. Spinning the news when we talk about how they are spinning the news. That's the way they do this. Now, today we've seen more evidence of this, as you've heard us talk about this on Morning Joe, Mika Brzezinski, who, of course, is there as the daughter of Zbigniew Brzezinski, the guy who's going to bring us the technocratic tyranny that he has worked on, creating the Trilateral Commission. And that's what we have seen with the globalists follow that pattern. They came up with a trade treaty that was going to unify the 3 blocks, North America, Europe, and Asia. And of course, they were going to do that economically and then politically. And we know what this pattern is. We've talked about what this pattern is. That's why Trump's election is so important. But what she said was, going full ministry of truth, our job is to control exactly what people say. She said Trump could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control what people think. And that is our job. See, they see themselves as not only a branch of the government, but they need to tell you what to think. See, here at InfoWars, we don't think our job is to control what you think. Our job is to get you to think. Our job is to get you to question authority. Don't believe something because it's told to you by Mika Brzezinski or by CNN. And of course, tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow that it's going to be coming out. We have James O'Keefe, Project Veritas. Yes, it is tomorrow that he's going to be coming out. And he says that looks like he's going to have hundreds of hours of newsroom footage of a key network. And of course, he hinted when he was talking to Sean Hannity that that was going to be CNN. He said the next 48 hours, Project Veritas, like WikiLeaks, will be releasing hundreds of hours of tape from within the media establishment. Our next target is, in fact, the media. And Sean Hannity said, how long have you been working on this? He said, we've had people on the inside come to us, just like Julian Assange had people come to him. We've had people, sources, come to us and give us information, and we're going to be releasing it WikiLeaks style this week. And so he asked, can you give us a hint of the organization? He said, well, it's one that Trump's been talking about a lot. You can probably use your imagination. And Sean Hannity said, so it's CNN. And so we're going to see the people who say they are the most trusted name in news. We're going to see they're going to become the most busted name in news. And so we're anxious to see how that's going to happen. But of course, there's also not just the censorship of our ads, not just taking down our videos. And of course, it's not just my video that got an R listing. We've had several videos that Alex Jones talked about. One in particular, 14 million views, just disappeared, flushed down the memory hole by these people who are banding together as a ministry of truth. This is a very wide process. And of course, when they can't get traction with the news media because CNN has lost its credibility when nobody's paying attention to them, they try to make us go away on the internet, but if that's not even good enough for them, they're now attacking us through the entertainment medium. And of course, we have this story today on InfoWars that Homeland is now creating an Alex Jones character. As Paul Joseph Watson puts it, it's a lame attempt to smear InfoWars. He said, it's a transparent effort to discredit InfoWars and appease liberals via the medium of entertainment. This Alex Jones character was introduced early in the season via a voice on the radio. One of the lead characters, Quinn, is seen obsessively listening to the show. The same character has become violent, semi-deranged, surviving a biological assassination attempt and a stroke. And I'm going to play you a little excerpt of their teaser here and listen to how much this guy sounds like Alex Jones when he's angry. Do we have the audio?
Your guard. If you announce to the world the terrorist threat has passed, oh, they're all in Raqqa or wherever, bringing on the end of the world over there with their goats. If you stop pushing back against them here every minute, if you are that stupid, what do you get? Boom! That's what you get!
That's the state of the attack on InfoWars. They're coming at us at every level, trying to attack the way we fund ourselves, trying to mock us in the media. And Watson sums it up this way. He says, the fact that an Alex Jones character has been written into this show tells us two things. Number one, we're part of the cultural zeitgeist and we can't be ignored. Number two, the establishment knows that young people don't watch TV news, they don't trust mainstream media, so they have to resort to propaganda placement by smearing Alex Jones through the media of fictional entertainment. Let's take a look at what's going on with the news today. Of course, in financial circles, we now have the feds, the masters of the economy, the people who are unelected, unaccountable. We're not even allowed to audit them, this private organization. They're now saying that they see a rate hike, another one, coming fairly soon. And of course, we didn't have rate hikes for a very, very long time under the Obama administration. They did everything to keep interest rates low to try to help the Obama administration. Now, we've already had one rate hike after the election, and they're getting ready to do another. As a matter of fact, after they did that first rate hike, they signaled the fact that they were looking at another 3 rate hikes after that. We've seen this all before, haven't we? We saw the Fed artificially drop interest rates continuously for a very long time, basically creating a kind of trough, if you looked at the graph. Dropping interest rates successively for a very long time, holding them there, creating a bubble economy, and then through a series of rapid rates, about 1/4 of a point, about every quarter, they burst that balloon. That's what brought us, that's a key part of what brought us the housing crisis. And so now we have the GOP dragging their feet on a tax cut, of course, dragging their feet on Obamacare. Now, Trump is going to take the lead on this, he said. He's going to give us something the beginning to the middle of March, and he's going to have to take the lead because the Republicans, even though we've elected them to do this a couple of years ago, they will not take the lead in getting rid of the financial burdens of Obamacare. So that's going to have to come from Trump. Hopefully that's going to happen within the next couple of weeks. But then also there's the issue of tax cuts. Are they going to drag their feet on that while the Federal Reserve is allowed to continually raise interest rates? It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Federal Reserve officials have expressed confidence that they can raise interest rates gradually, and continuously, I would add, while a hike fairly soon might be appropriate to avoid the risk of an overheated economy. Minutes of the Federal Open Market Committee's latest meeting show there is nothing open about their committee, folks. Let's just understand that. This is wrong on so many different levels, but of course they're going to manipulate this politically. It's a private organization. They don't just get rich off of this, they also manipulate our economy. Now, at the same time, we see some positive news. I don't know how long this is going to last, but CIA arms for Syrian rebels have frozen amid infighting. Now, this is no official explanation is offered for the freeze. This is coming from antiwar.com. They say sources are confirming that the CIA's long-standing arms smuggling program for quote-unquote moderate Syrian rebels has been frozen since earlier this month, with a move coinciding with the beginning of infighting between the Free Syrian Army and al-Qaeda's al-Nusra Front. And they talk about the fact that these guys are fighting each other. Look, that's absolute nonsense. The real infighting is going on within the Pentagon and the CIA. They're the ones who started this war. They're the ones who are arming these rebels. There are no moderate rebels. These people, no matter what they want to call themselves, we see al-Nusra has now become al-Qaeda as well. They're just different aliases that they adopt. And we can go back and look at this. I wonder if this freezing of CIA shipments was due to Michael Flynn being there, or if he didn't have a chance to have much of an effect there. Now, we're going back to December of 2015. Remember, we had Seymour Hersh come out and talk about what was going on in Syria. He said the White House knew that the U.S. was arming the Islamic State. Of course, this is Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Seymour Hersh. He says that Obama, and in particular the CIA, knowingly armed militant Islamicists in Syria, including the Islamic State. He said Obama's repeated insistence that Assad must leave office and that there are moderate rebel groups in Syria capable of defeating him has in recent years provoked quiet dissent, even overt opposition among some of the most senior officers in the Pentagon's Joint Staff. And interestingly enough, when he's talking about this, he talks about General Flynn. And it was General Flynn who openly talked about this as well. That's one of the reasons we're so upset that he was removed. At least many of us who understand what's going on here, who understand that it is a CIA project to arm the rebels in Syria. Hersh wrote that a highly classified 2013 Defense Intelligence Agency Joint Chief of Staff report on Syria forecast that the fall of the Assad regime would lead to chaos and possibly to Islamicist extremists taking over Syria. Imagine. Can you imagine something? Well, of course we can. We've seen that happen in Iraq. We saw it happen in Libya. It happens every time they do this regime change. We always see things go from bad to far worse. Hersh reported that Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, director of the DIA between 2012 and 14, told him that his agency sent a, quote, constant stream of warnings to the civilian leadership about the dire consequences of ousting Assad. And Hersh quotes Flynn saying, "I felt they did not want to hear the truth." Now we've seen the CIA working with the Washington Post, and of course, the Washington Post, owned by Jeff Bezos, who has a massive contract, data contract with the CIA, $600 million contract 3 years ago. I don't know how large that contract is today. I'm sure it's much higher. Working together, they've now pushed General Flynn out. And we now have McMaster's taking his place. Now, McMaster's is a CFR member. He's part of the establishment, but he has also talked about Vietnam. He talked about the fact that civilian leadership was not listening to the military. The military was not doing their job in terms of telling them what was going on in Vietnam. Hopefully, he will tell the truth. Hopefully, he will move them in the right directions, but we'll have to wait and see. This could have been a coup. It certainly looks like it at this point, against somebody who would tell the truth, who would work against the CIA's secret war in Syria. Now, the CNN, which we're going to find out more about tomorrow, is talking about, surprisingly, how Trump could change the fabric of the U.S. without changing its laws. Imagine that. Could a president change the fabric of society without changing its laws? Well, of course they could. We just saw Barack Obama do it. They say he's instructed the Department of Homeland Security to reinterpret the laws on immigration and to start building a border wall. He's told the State Department to reinterpret visas and refugees, and HHS to reinterpret aspects of Obamacare. The EPA could be next. Yeah, you can bet it is. You can absolutely bet it is. Listen, what has happened here? We had Barack Obama say how many dozens of times early in his administration, hey, y'all want me to do something about immigration, but I'm not a dictator. I have to follow the laws. It's Congress that makes those laws, so forth and so on. But towards the end of his administration, he just did it. He just did it by executive order. So if he's going to do it by executive order, it can be undone by executive order. It was Barack Obama who changed the fabric of America. And of course, CNN was cheering him on. Now they're afraid. They're afraid that we've got somebody that is going to operate by executive order. And we said this when it happened. We said the liberals need to understand where this is going. There's going to be a day where they're going to have a president that they don't agree with. Well, that day has now come. And now they're going to be living by the executive order. And I think rightfully so, because Barack Obama didn't reinterpret the laws. He just ignored them. He violated them. He did them in contradiction to what the American people had voted for. The reason the Congress was not giving him what he voted for was because the Congress had been elected by the people. It wasn't the will of the people to do that. And the bureaucracy that creates the rules is the other aspect of the executive branch. It's not just executive orders, but it is the bureaucracy that has done this. And now this bureaucracy is going to see those rules change very quickly with the EPA.
In case you haven't heard, InfoWars has become the most influential media outlet in America. We're making freedom go viral. And now we are proud to announce a new weapon in the epic battle against the globalists. InfoWars Prime, where you can watch live high-definition feeds of The Alex Jones Show, plus exclusive insider videos from the InfoWars crew and behind-the-scenes action. Go to Infowars.com/app and download today. InfoWars Prime is available right now for your iPhone or Android. You will have access to exclusive videos that you can't see anywhere else. And that means live coverage of events and breaking news on location as it happens. You can also take advantage of amazing deals from the InfoWars store that are only available for InfoWars Prime subscribers. That's InfoWars Prime at Infowars.com/app. And if you can hear my voice, you are the resistance.